Good morning, everybody. My name is Stephen Kartstein. I am the Marketing and Program Manager at the Elks Theater and Performing Arts Center, and I'd like to invite you to this month's episode of Under the Elks podcast, where we discuss everything Elks. And today I have some very new and interesting guests. I have sitting next to me on my left Jennifer Ward, who is the Assistant Business Manager at the Elks Theater, and Maxine Dillahunty, the Docent Coordinator at the Elks Theater. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Good morning, Steve.
I'm happy to have you. Thank you. Jennifer, let's start with you a little bit. Why don't we tell us a little bit about yourself, how you became involved with the theater, how long you've been there, what your responsibilities are?
Okay, all right. So almost 9 years ago, I was homeschooling my children and decided I needed a job, and this job literally fell into my lap. And that was 9 years ago.
Did you have any theater experience or anything?
No. I'd been in HR for many years and office, obviously, experience, but in the corporate world.
Right.
And so this was a much different endeavor. So 9 years later, here we are.
Okay.
And day-to-day functions absolutely vary. Can be on the phone all day long, could be up and down the stairs all day long, running reports, doing all kinds of things, which is nice, which kind of mimics HR, which I think is one reason I like it, is that no day is ever the same.
Okay, so if you're on the phone, what is it? Are you working with groups? Are you working with individuals? Are you selling tickets?
Mm-hmm.
Is it people calling you looking to schedule their bands and theater productions?
All of the things.
All of the things?
All of the things, yeah. A lot of phone work that I do personally would be selling tickets, taking care of patrons. They have issues, they have questions, things like that. Dealing with the production companies.
Right.
And the community. A lot of community things.
Okay.
Raffles, things like
for
that.
Instance?
They'll come to us and say, we're having an event. We'd like you to donate tickets. We are a rental facility, so we cannot just take all the tickets we want and give them away.
Right.
So then I get on the phone or I get on email and I go to our production companies and ask,
Okay.
would you be willing to donate tickets for this cause? And the answer is almost always yes, which is great.
That's excellent. So a lot of the shows that you do are outside production companies?
Almost always, yeah.
Almost always?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. We don't produce anything ourselves. We're not a theater troupe.
Okay.
We're not a band.
Do you partner with any groups, either locally or?
Yeah, sometimes we'll co-produce with local groups, especially if it's a fundraiser of sorts. We do all kinds of things. We have dance recitals in there. Last night we had a school come in and do their annual play, if you will.
That was the Skyview School.
That was Skyview School. They come every year. Weddings, dance recitals, all kinds of things. Yeah, concerts.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice. What do you like most about being there?
Everything. I have the best job in the world. I do. I love everything. I am a people person. I love dealing with our patrons. You grow to actually love some of these people. You just do. I love the public. And it's.
How big is the team that's there?
Oh boy, small.
Really?
Colette is our theater manager. We've got Bob, who does a lot of our tech and some of our facilities work. And then we just brought on my son and daughter to work there as well. And they do all kinds of things. They grew up here, literally grew up in the theater. So for 9 years, they've been listening and watching and learning. and these two kiddos could probably take over if something happened. So it's great. And then with the help of our docents who we would fall apart without literally, we have a nice tight team. We're family. We are
Very
family.
nice.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me about the theater itself. Can you give me a little roundabout of its history and what your purpose is in the community right now?
Okay, so history I'm going to leave to Maxine because she knows so much more than I do. Community-wise, we definitely have outreach programs. We've got scholarship programs that we're involved in, and that's really our main goal now, especially that we're a nonprofit. And you're obviously involved in a lot of that as well. So we're raising money for high school students for actual, scholarship funds, as long as it's within the arts. And then
Performing arts.
Performing arts, right? Yep. And then, band instruments. There are a lot of families out there that can't afford certain things, but their children want or need to be involved, and will buy instruments or dance shoes or dance lessons, things like that, where we're reaching out to real specific families and children who need help. So that feels good.
Good. Excellent. Excellent.
Yeah.
And other than other things you're looking forward to do down the line, or are you looking to just absorb these and then think about it?
I think right now we'll probably absorb these things. Definitely community, everything. We want to do so much of that, and there's so much to be done in so many different ways to do that. So, but we'll definitely get our feelers out a little bit more as time goes on, and we figure out what makes sense for.
Excellent,
Prescott.
excellent. Yeah, there was one thing that I wanted to mention, that because you mentioned the instrument donations and the scholarship programs, we just awarded 3 new scholarships to Prescott High School students. They were notified last week that they were the recipients. It was wonderful. We gave away 1 last year. 3 this year, so we're hoping to continue on that train next year. So they're very excited individuals. Also on the music side, we just donated 2 trombones to Prescott Middle School, and and 3 cases, I think it was, which was the first time we've actually reached out and done that. But one thing I wanted to mention to the community at large is that we also accept say you have a clarinet sitting in the closet and you're not using it, we would be happy to accept that and find it a new home.
Right.
So it would be used in the art education, the music education of some local student. Good working order. We can't take pianos, unfortunately, because
Nowhere to put them?
nowhere to put them.
I see.
But if anything else, if you have something that you're looking to move from your house, we'll be happy to take it from you and find it a good place and with some local person. Okay. As far as the goals of the program, are you doing anything special to work towards achieving them?
As far as the community outreach, one thing that we do would be the Wednesday night movies. And those run almost all year long. We take a couple of small breaks, mainly for our own sanity sometimes. But the movies are a cash donation only. And
So there's no
a
charge.
large family can literally come in, maybe a family who couldn't afford to go to a movie typically and take a whole family and do the popcorn and the soda and the candy, they can come in.
Right.
The whole lot of them, and our concessions are extremely reasonable. And so we just want people to get in here. And then those donations that come in the door go right back into community outreach. That will also pay for the rights to the movies. That does cost money. So we put that back in there and buy the rights for the next stack of movies. And we're always looking for people to suggest things. We're not beyond that either. If you want to
Right.
see something, say so, and
Okay.
we'll see if we can get it on the schedule. So it's really, really nice. During the summer, that is put together with the downtown concert series on the square. So where they used to do the movies on the square, they're now doing that Wednesday night movie within the theater. So
Very good.
that's where people will go, and it draws a lot of people, and people are really enjoying the atmosphere.
And this is the second year you've done this partnership, correct?
Right, yeah, this is the second summer with the city and the downtown partnership.
I remember last year was the movies are selected by the partnership, correct?
We chose them.
Oh, you chose them. Okay. I thought it was the other way around.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, we're choosing the movies. We chose them last year too, and
Okay.
we try to get a varied, a variety.
Right. Yeah.
Some girls' night out kind of things, and kiddos and stuff like that. So
Cool. Very cool. All right. Excellent. We'll talk a little bit more about what's coming up in a little bit, but I'd like to turn to Maxine a little bit. And Maxine, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about how you became involved with the Elks Theater and Performing Arts Center.
Well, my name is Maxine Dillahunty. I'm a retired registered nurse. My husband and I moved to Prescott 15 years ago. I love history. I love Victorian costuming, and the theater just filled that bill in both costuming and history.
Wow. And how long have you lived in Prescott?
15 years.
15 years?
Yes.
Okay. Where'd you come from?
Southern California.
Southern California?
Everybody does.
As everybody does, yes, indeed.
Me
San
too.
Diego.
Me too.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. How did you get involved? Did you answer an advertisement? Did you just walk in the door and say, "Hi, I'm here"?
A friend of mine and I were invited to join the Elks Foundation, the Elks Opera House Foundation.
Okay.
And then they invited us also to put together a group of people that would be primarily doing fundraising.
Okay.
At that time, Elizabeth Ruffner was well into raising funds to restore the theater.
So this was in the late 2007,
Yes,
8, 9s area?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. When you came on board? Okay.
Yeah.
So you were there for the remodel of the actual theater,
yes.
the return.
The Elks Opera House Guild started in November of 2008.
Okay, very good, very good. And did you have a specific role in the remodel, or were you just there generally to assist?
We were generally there to assist. We did not have a role in the remodeling itself.
Okay.
But when it all came together, we were there in full force. There was about 60 of us. We maintain a membership right around 60 all the time.
And you're all volunteers, correct?
And we're all volunteers, yes, and we provide our own costumes.
So you make the costume like what you're wearing right
Yes,
now
yes.
show everybody the hat. It's really neat. And these are all made by the guild members.
They are made by the members themselves. I used to, when I was sewing more, would make costumes for others. But in general, we have a costumer, a lady, Sue McDonald, that makes costumes now. And she's wonderful. She does great work.
Yeah. I know Sue. She does a good job.
Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely neat. So why don't you spend a few minutes, tell us a little bit about the history of the theater itself, and going back to its origination and through, current dates.
Well, the theater, the building was made in 1904. The theater was added in 1905, opened on February 20th. In the middle of the winter time, to a live production of Marta and the Lowlands, which was done by a traveling theater group at that time. And it did open as the Elks Opera House, but by October of that year, the movies had already started coming into the theater, and by 1910, the movies was the primary entertainment preferred by the
And these would have been
country.
silent.
These were silent films, yes.
Right.
The first film to play at the theater was Palace of the Arabian Nights in October of 1905.
I've not seen that one.
I missed that one on Turner Classic too. So
And then of course the talkies came. The problem with the talkies was we didn't have a sound system to do the wording, but nonetheless, we opened and with the talkies in the mid-20s.
Right.
Jazz Singer was the first real full talkie.
yeah, the Al Jolson movie.
Yes.
Okay.
By the late 30s, the theater had become basically a movie house, and in 1940, they started the first renovation of the theater to make it more acceptable to the movies At that time,
Modernization?
modern, and that was the main thing. They just wanted to modernize it and make it pay and have the
Right.
people come. They didn't do any live shows after that for years. At that time, they took out the beautiful boxes that everybody just loves, the boxes, and covered all the front of the theater with paint and plywood.
Right.
That's what I call it. It didn't do anything for the aesthetics of the beautiful theater, but it did modernize it and make it, well, I like to say pay for itself, but small theaters really never quite pay for themselves.
Right.
So the biggest renovation at that time was in around 1945.
Okay. And between 1945 and it passed into private hands, from person to person, or
Well, the Elks, the Benevolent Protective Order of the Elks, built the theater, owned it, until around 1968 when they sold it.
okay.
And they did sell it to in private hands. But they separated the building from the theater, which was under the management of Claude Klein for years, to condo offices upstairs where businessmen owned their own space.
So up in the theater, was the theater proper was business offices, or
Up in the building.
in the
Eight
performing
years
arts in the
separate.
performing arts
Separate.
center?
Yes.
Okay, got it. Okay, I'm just thinking of your office up there in the,
Right.
in
And
the
how
top
many
there.
people does that? Well, exactly.
2 if you're lucky.
2 is all.
Her and Colette's office is in what was the projection room
Right,
when it was a movie
right.
a movie
Okay,
theater.
very good. So once it moved into private hands, did it maintain its movie house? Did people try to change it, make it somewhere else, something else?
Well, they used it for several different things. Probably the most popular and the thing that the public generally misses the most is when they stopped doing the Christmas shows. But the theater pretty much, it had its good days and bad days,
Mm-hmm.
or years actually, when it was hardly functioning. But in the 60s, they sold it. And around the 1970s, Elizabeth Ruffner took the theater on as a mission
Right.
to save it from, and I often say, from being a parking lot
Right,
for the
yeah.
business people upstairs.
Because there was talk about knocking
Yes.
it down and turning it into something
Yes.
else, a new business or office
Yeah.
or something like that. Was the function, when did the city come in to
The
the
city
theater
came
itself?
in about 2000
Okay.
and bought the theater.
Okay.
And I'm sorry,
The city's ownership of we were talking about the city's ownership of the theater itself and how, so they owned it for about literally 10 years is
Yes.
all, really?
yes, until
So-
it was purchased by EdPAC Foundation.
Right. ETPAC is the Elks Theater Performing Arts Center Foundation, which owns the theater and the Performing Arts Center at this point. And excellent, excellent. So now the theater was purchased by the foundation and it went through there really wasn't any remodel or anything that went
No.
on there. It just took it over.
Well, actually, the remodeling started just before it was purchased by EdPAC.
Okay.
Thanks to the fundraising efforts of the Guild, which was part of our original function, even though we didn't hold a candle to the $1,250,000 that was donated by the James Family Trust
Right.
for the renovation. And when you have a renovation of that magnitude, you have to have significant
Right.
seed money
Hmm.
so that the contractors and the builders feel comfortable in
Right.
starting the project because
Right.
it was a major project.
Right. Excellent, excellent. And since the purchase by the foundation, smooth sailing. Has-
Smooth sailing.
Yes, it has been smooth sailing, I
Yeah.
think.
Excellent,
Uh-huh.
excellent.
Yeah.
So just to backtrack a little bit to the docents, you mentioned that there are approximately 60 of you and you maintain that level of membership and that you're all volunteers. What is your mission here in the community?
Our mission with the Elks Theater is to preserve, promote, and support the Elks Theater.
Okay.
And
Okay.
we do that. We preserve by being in historic costume. And our period is from 1860 to about 1912 when Arizona became a state.
Right.
Whenever the theater is open, we are there in costume to remind people that this is a historic theater and it is a Prescott treasure.
Excellent, excellent. If people wanted to get in touch with you or your organization to volunteer, how would they do that?
Well, I think probably one of the easiest ways is to come into the theater. We are there Tuesday through Friday every week from 10 to 2.
Mhm.
And we do tours, sell tickets, and are proud to show off our theater. But if people are interested in becoming a docent, come in and take a tour and let us tell you about the things that we do.
Okay, and the tours, do they cost anything?
No, the tours are always free and they're always individual. If you come in as a one, you will get the same tour if you come in with a group of 10 or 20.
Excellent, excellent. And as far as the educational process of the docents, is it something that is, how long does it take to get them up to speed on the history and knowledge of the actual theater?
Well, that particular job is one of the things that I do, is orienting the docents. And actually it's quite simple. I have them come in, I go through a full tour telling them all about the theater, our history, and go over the paperwork. There's always paperwork.
Right.
And then we always put them with somebody else for the particular job that they're going to do.
An experienced individual.
An experienced docent that is ushering or standing at the door.
Right.
Our male members always lean toward the security part
Right.
of the theater. And we love having them. They're there in their long black frock coats and their black hats, looking very sophisticated
Very
and tough
yeah.
and
Mhm.
handsome.
Yeah. And a lot of them too, a lot of the men are retired police officers,
Right.
sheriff, things like that.
Yes.
So they're great for security. And
Who's the gentleman in the Civil War garb that I've seen there?
Dale.
Is
Oh,
that
that's
Dale?
probably Dale.
Dale.
Probably Dale. Okay. He
Yeah.
looks pretty sharp.
He looks.
That's
They
a great
all
looking
look
uniform.
so great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely.
I did tell you that our costuming period is from the 1860s
Right.
to about 1912. But we found early on that you really cannot usher in hoops and petticoats. So we don't
They have tried.
encourage
Right.
the ladies to go for the 1860 period.
Not the antebellums. No.
I know, it's
And
so
we're
beautiful.
finding now that the theater was open during the Edwardian period.
Oh, really?
And even though I am very personally fond of the Victorian, because I think the costuming in Victorian is just beautiful. But a lot of our ladies are choosing to go the Edwardian look because they don't have the tight corsets and the laces and the petticoats.
So the outfits are period correct then, as
We
close
do-
as they can be.
We do our best to be period correct, but I also remind our ladies that we represent the theater.
Right.
We are not Charlotte Hall. Don't have to. People don't look at us and say, "Oh, that's perfect." You know, they have to.
Right.
We want to present the look.
Okay. Very good. Very good. And are you doing anything special to support the theater? Is there anything that you want to mention to
Well,
the group? Or
Aside
them?
of the for the 6,000 hours that we donate in volunteer time to the theater, we also do fashion shows for which we get a small remittance for. We participate in the 4th of July parade, the Christmas parade, to promote the theater and
good.
the guild.
Good.
So.
If somebody wanted to invite you to their event, is that a possibility of something you do, or is that not something?
Well, sometimes to be invited to an event, it depends on the event. If it really doesn't have that much to do with the theater or the guild and things that we do, we occasionally turn them down.
Okay.
But if it does have something that will promote the theater and the period, we are always glad to attend. And we do great fashion shows. Matter of fact, tomorrow, and we are having our annual tea and fashion show. And the fashion show this year is called Corsets to Congress. And it's the history of women's suffrage in the United States.
Sounds wonderful.
And I'm happy to say, though I regret having to say, that we are sold out.
Yeah.
Wow.
But because we are sold out, we have decided to do a repeat performance this fall.
Oh, excellent.
So everybody that couldn't get tickets for tomorrow's tea and fashion show will have an opportunity to get it in the fall.
Excellent. Make sure I'm looped in there somewhere. Perfect. Okay, excellent. Well, Jennifer, why don't we talk a little bit about what's coming up at the theater? I know you have movies. You're into it's starting up with the summer series, and then you've got a whole slew of shows coming up in the month of May.
A slew of shows. We've got a slew of shows all year long. In fact, I think we're pretty well.
Slewed up.
Yeah. Yes, which is so crazy. But yeah, so the movies this month, and I'll just read off of here. We've got the Blues Brothers movie. That's on the 15th of May. We've got Chicago, so more of a musical then. So we go with comedy. We do, like I said, try to mix it up so that we've got different groups coming in. So Chicago will be on May 22nd, and then on the 29th we've got Coco for the babies.
That's a very recent movie.
Yeah. So, so that'll be fun. And sometimes in the summertime too, we'll take that Wednesday night movie that's for the kiddos, and we'll show it in the morning. We've done that before. So, but we'll let you know as a community whether or not we're going to do that.
So movies are all at the same time, same day?
7:00 Wednesday evenings.
Set your clock.
Set your clock. Be there. Wander in. I mean, really as late as 6:45. We hold just under 500 people. We're not gonna,
Yep.
you know, you're gonna get a seat
Right.
and you're gonna love it. Yeah.
And this is donation only. so
Donation
if,
only.
you know, it's a dollar get you in the door.
$1 will get you in the door.
Yeah.
25 cents will get you in the door, to be honest. You know, we've got people, we'll have a couple come in and drop, you know, $50 to $100 as a donation. And then we'll have a family of 7 come in and say, this is all I've got. And those are the ones I love because that's really catering to these folks who maybe couldn't take their kids, you know.
Right.
Popcorn, soda, candy, water, all $2. We do have a beer and wine license. So we have beer and wine for $4 and $6.
For adults, not the kids.
For adults, I mean, So yeah, and champagne, ladies, champagne.
Mhm.
So very affordable, very
Excellent.
fun. Yeah, it's good
Okay.
stuff. It's good
Perfect.
stuff.
And
yeah.
what shows are coming up?
And then as far as things happening in May, concert-wise, we've got really, I was looking at this list while Maxine was talking to, and we've got quite an array of things. So a lot of what we bring in, or these production companies bring in, are tribute shows. They're not necessarily, acting like that person,
Right.
but they're paying a tribute to the music, which is a lot more fun
Right.
than having an impersonator per se. Ironically, some of them really do look like these people. It's crazy. But typically it's a tribute to the music. So we've got a CCR concert coming on the 4th.
Creedence Clearwater Revival.
Creedence Clearwater. And on the 11th of May, we've got a local doctor. So again, lots of different things. His name is Kiva Karandish. He is a pianist. He's got a brother who's also a fantastic artist. And they're going to put on a great show as well. On the 12th, Mother's Day proper, is Esteban. It's the real Esteban. We get that question a lot. He's fantastic. He comes about 3 times a year with his daughter Teresa, who's also just a phenomenal violinist.
Is there a fake Esteban?
Probably. We don't know.
Okay.
But we got the real deal. So, and then on the 17th, we've got a show called Queen Nation. This is a Queen tribute, and it is amazing. It really, really is amazing. Most of the production companies price their tickets the same. So typically, you're looking at $22 per seat as a senior, 65 and over, or 25 if you're under 65. Sometimes, like Esteban, he charges a little more. And then sometimes you'll come in for a show and it'll be $12, or it'll be a local theater troupe, and you can, there's an $8 ticket to come in and see, the
Right.
kiddos in the community perform on the stage. So pricing varies. Check our website. Call us. That's why we're in the office during the week, is to talk to you.
Right. What's the website?
www.prescottelkstheater.com.
Ding.
Ding. We've got a Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young show coming on the 18th. That obviously is a tribute as well. And then on the 31st, we've got Carvin Jones, who's a blues guitarist. Again, not a tribute. So all kinds of different things. If you have
Excellent.
questions, call. We've got some shows that come in during the year that sell out literally within weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And it could be something that's scheduled for December. If it's on the schedule now, certain shows don't last. So call me.
I know I was
Colette.
talking to Colette a few days ago, and she said that looks like November and December are already booked up, and
Yeah.
they'll be going live on the website in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah,
So,
we're done, you
Yeah.
guys, and it's only April, so
Yeah.
it's good stuff.
Yeah.
It's good stuff. So yeah, get in there. Don't worry about the tributes. They're not. It's good.
yeah, I've seen a couple of them, and they're fantastic.
Amazing.
Fantastic
Yes.
groups. Yeah.
So
I think our tribute bands are every bit as good as they are in Branson, Missouri,
Right.
or
Mhm.
Las Vegas.
Yeah.
They're excellent.
and a lot of these folks do travel to those places. Some of them
Right.
travel worldwide.
Mm-hmm.
This is no joke talent. This
Right.
is
No,
top notch.
great music, great sound, and
Yep.
a great place.
Great place.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's what's happening in May.
Excellent, excellent. Well, now I'm supposed to ask myself a question about what's happening at the Performing Arts Center. We are next door to the theater, and we have just embarked on some events of our own, and we will be continuing that for a little while. For the month of May, we have a couple of events coming up. On Cinco de Mayo, we've partnered in with Mile High Comedy Theater, an American improv theater, for a day-long seminar on how to be a comedian. If you think you're funny, you can come there. And you think you want to be funny and you'd like to learn some tips, there'll be a day-long, 2-day-long, 3-day-long seminars about how to present yourself on stage, how to present your material, and then after the show, after the seminars, we will have a live improv show up on the 3rd floor of the Elks Performing Arts Center in the Crystal Hall. And that's $5 to get in the door. There'll be a beer and wine bar available, and everybody who's registered will have an opportunity to go up on stage and strut their stuff, so to speak. So if you're interested in doing something like that, please go to the website, elkstheater.com, and just scroll down till you'll see the Mile High graphics, and there's a link embedded there. Just click on the link and they'll tell you everything it is you need to know. And that's happening obviously on Cinco de Mayo, which is a week from Sunday. Then on the 13th, we have Top of the Elks, which is our every other second Monday. Yes, our second Monday of the month. We have a jazz dinner with dancing up on the top floor of the Elks Performing Arts Center. And this month's band is the band Mint. And they've been there before. They were a great band, really tight, good sound. And again, in a beautiful place as well, up there in the Grand Ballroom. And it's $35 a person. However, it includes first drink free, free food, all you can eat, provided by, or at least until it runs out, provided by El Gato Azul. And also the Flying Nest Movement Arts, Earl Duquet, is there, and they provide 2 dance lessons. One before the show and one at intermission, so you can kind of get your footwear, your footsteps down as you go forward. One other thing we've also done, and this just happened last week, we teamed up with the Arizona Philharmonic, and we will be having 4 shows, 2 at the end of this year, and then 2 scheduled into next year, 2020, featuring local classical artists, and we're really excited about this new program that we just started. And also we have partnered with the Folk Sessions, Tom Agostino, and we have 3 artists coming through this year and scheduling more as he finds the talent and brings them in. So really nice. So that's what's going on at the Elks Performing Arts Center this year. So that's about it. I'd like to thank our 2 guests, Maxine and Jennifer, for coming by and talking about what's happening at the theater and a little bit of the history and themselves. Looking forward to it. Next month, on May 24th, you have to come and watch. Okay, you don't miss the show. We have got something coming up for the community that is going to touch everybody, and you don't want to miss it. It's going to be huge. We got a meeting next week with some people, and it's just going to be, it's going to be great. So once we get everything settled out, the who, what, when, and where, we'll make some announcements, but hopefully we'll have some really big guests next month on the 24th on this show at the what do we call this? We call this Under the Elk. Thank you for listening. Have a great weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.